All right, can everybody see that okay? Awesome. All right, so welcome in everybody. This presentation is about how you can discover some of your psychic and intuitive abilities through human design. And so, as you may know, if you are familiar with the human design work, um, you know it's a lot. so if you guys have questions as we're going along, I do have a chat up to see that. I will also be taking questions at the end before we share super exciting announcement. Um, and yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. So those of you who are new in here and may have not had a chance to look at any of the other videos or anything with human design. Basically, human design is a system that combines principles of astrology, I Ching, Kabbalah, as well as the chakra system. And so it's kind of giving you like an insight to your own personal energetic blueprint and how you are specifically designed to interact with the world. So this is how human design can kind of help with your psychic intuitive abilities. So once you kind of get an understanding of what your human design type, strategy, authority, and profile, you can actually kind of see the unique way of how you process information, but also how you interact with energy. So this can bring some really good alignment with your intuitive abilities. We all identify with different energy centers in our body and how they correspond to, different aspects of life as well as our consciousness. So becoming aware of your centers that are defined, meaning they're consistently active, but this is what you're also feeling, or the undefined, which is influenced by others. This is what you're experiencing. This can kind of help you understand how you naturally perceive and interact with energy, but as well as your decision making. So your energetic centers are very much based off of how you receive information and how your energies are heightened and how you can gain more clarity with making it easier to access your intuitive insights with your decision making as well. So we're going to do a little quick activity with your paper. Um, I want you to write down what you think your strongest clair or psychic ability is. If you believe it is something that I have um, other than what I have up here, please feel free to write that down. If you want to do like your top three, so what you think is your strongest, then your next, then your next, I would recommend to do that as well. But I just want to see after this activity that we do, kind of how you feel about this, or what you think your strongest is right now. Once you get that written down, this is what I want you to answer. So, what it says is that you've just finished watching one of the greatest movies you've ever seen in the movie theater, and you're walking out of the theater with your friend. What is the first thing you're going to talk about? Is it A, the character development and interaction? So, the relationship that the characters showed between each other? Is it going to be B, the movie soundtrack? This could also be like the sound effects, but it could also be like the dramatic sounds that they have in the background of movies. C is going to be your movie setting and location. This can also be, like how the movie is shot, like how they chose to use like certain angles with the shooting of the movie. And then the last one, D, is how you already knew how the movie was going to end. And yes, please feel free to share in the chat as well what your specific one is. And you can also do the same thing with this one too. If you have, like the first one you're going to talk about, then the second one, feel free to do that as well. But I just want to see what you guys come up with. Okay, so we got a lot of A's, right? Jennifer, Michelle, D. Okay, A and C, A and D. Awesome. Okay, so the reason why I wanted you guys to answer this is because I wanted to see if it matches with what you think your strongest clair is. So if you chose A, you are most likely have a strong clairsentience, a clear feeling, the empaths. You are typically feeling that interaction and that energy between the character dynamic. Please pardon my great example I'm about to use here, but thinking of Twilight and how Bella and Edward developed their relationship, as well as her relationship with Jacob as well. So if you chose B, clairaudience. B is probably the one I choose second as well. I am so big on a movie soundtrack. I'm also super big on the sound effects with movies as well. We just went and watched that wild movie Longlegs the other day in the movie theater, and there were a lot of dead silent scenes, and it was driving me crazy. I think that was the scariest part for me. If you chose C, this is kind of your clairvoyance showing out to be strong. Your kind of, clairvoyance, it's pretty common for your clairvoyance to kind of come or be presented kind of like in movie scripts or movie scenes. And then the last one, D, is claircognizance, clear knowing. I would probably put that as my top, claircognizance. I am pretty good at predicting how a movie will end. So, so if you guys were able to kind of match that with what you think your strongest is, also put that in the comments. But I just wanted to use that as a fun little activity. I think this is like a good dinner question or, like party question to ask people. Kim, yours matched. Okay, awesome. Yes, you got B and D. Okay, yeah, that's me too. Good match. Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, so just something to keep in mind too, the next time you sit down and watch a movie, if this is something that kind of brings more awareness into your abilities. All right, so today with this presentation, we're going to be looking at the energy centers. The reason why we're going to be looking at these centers is because they have all the gates in them. And your centers, whether they are defined or undefined. And when I say this throughout this presentation, either defined or undefined, if you can see over here in this picture right here, the ones that are colored in, these are your defined centers. So if you take a look at your chart that you have, all of the centers that are colored in, these are going to be your defined centers. So whether you have these centers defined or undefined, so the undefined, they're going to be clear, they're going to be white. They can kind of determine where your abilities might manifest within your energy centers. So the consistency and the reliability of these are often reflected in the defined aspects of the chart, but particularly related to those of the ajna, which is the second chart right here, that's your third eye. For mental processing, inspiration is the crown or the head center, and then your communication within the throat. So even if you don't have three defined, you likely have a gate within one of these that are defined, or you have a channel connecting to another defined center that you have. So these will also be a connection that we can make and how you are possibly manifesting or naturally tuning into your abilities. So again, I do want to point this out because it does get kind of confusing, but having an undefined, a white center or an open center does not mean that you lack any type of psychic or intuitive abilities. These are the places that you are getting your sources. This is where you're learning. This is where you're experiencing versus your defined centers where you're already feeling. All right, so of course we're going to start the crown center, the top one right here. So if you guys have your crown centers defined or undefined, you can put that in the chat as well. But the crown center, this is the pressure center. So our crown center, as well as our bottom one right here, the root center. These are our pressure centers. And it's where we get big ideas, our downloads, and our inspiration. So it's this pressure to kind of translate existence. So this center is here to be confused and to be doubtful. So this center is where we get all of our questions. And it literally puts pressure on the mind center for us to solve these questions. And it's also associated with our pineal glands. So with a defined crown center, you have a fixed and reliable way of thinking. This is kind of like a consistent mental activity when you're feeling in yourself. There are sometimes you might not feel this way if you're in your not self cycle. So it's going to be a pressure to ask and to answer and to understand. It is normal for you to kind of ponder on many things at once. Your mind is a playground, so you kind of allow yourself to play without expecting any type of outcome. So yes, I do like to say that having a defined crown center, you guys are my deep thinkers. But just because there's energy doesn't mean that you'll necessarily get any answers. But having an undefined crown means you're like constantly inspired. You are amplifying ideas and questions around you all the time, which can kind of enhance your pressure to think. And you might also kind of have this pressure you need to comprehend it and you need to understand it all right then, right there. The wisdom of the center is knowing which questions, inspirations, and insights are actually useful in the moment. So it's a big now center as well. So you're open to ideas and inspirations coming from all different directions. Okay, so here's how a defined head center can kind of influence your psychic or intuitive abilities. So having this consistency with your intuitive insights, you consistently have gates or channels that are connected within this center. So this consistency allows for more of like a stable, reliable flow of intuitive insights. You may find that you often receive like flashes of inspiration or it's like sudden realization that's kind of guiding you into understanding certain or complex situations. The head center is also linked to clarity and mental understanding. So when it is defined, you may have a natural ability to kind of grasp these like abstract concepts. You're really good at perceiving patterns as well that others may overlook. And this kind of can help you interpret psychic impressions or insights that are received through other channels. So if I go back to this picture right here, just having this connection right here, this is kind of having this defined is giving you more of like a consistent flow or just the consistent ability of what you are receiving is very consistent. So there is a chance, though, that you could be just potentially blocking yourself if there is a consistency with this, or there is a defined way of how you manifest this, which we'll get into later as well. Let's see here. You also may find that it's easier to channel higher guidance or wisdom from different realms. This can kind of manifest as receiving messages from your spirit guides, the way you connect with your higher consciousness. Um, and it's also associated with how our creativity flows and our innovative thinking. So, defined head center can kind of stimulate in creative ideas, which can be channeled into intuitive or psychic practices. So you may be someone who takes your intuitive practices and expresses it in a very artistic way. Or could be someone that takes it into a spiritual context and you're using it to problem solve. Okay, yes, only my top two are defined. Ooh, okay. So that's really interesting because I was going to ask Kim if your throat center is defined, but with you saying those are your two that are defined. So yeah, that's good. That kind of shows that you do have this like consistency with what you receive and how it's downloaded. So a big thing for you might be just the way that you have either learned or been conditioned in how you speak what you receive with your intuitive abilities as well. So yeah, I'll get into that as well with certain exercises that might help with it too. So the head center often forms channels with other centers, with the third eye, as well as the throat center. So these connections can kind of like facilitate the integration of intuitive insights into practical actions, or even like just the effective communication when you are receiving these psychic impressions. So let's take a look at what an undefined head center would look like with your abilities. So individuals with an undefined head center can be highly receptive to collective consciousness and the mental environment around them. This can kind of lead to more of like intuitive insights and flashes of inspiration that just come out of nowhere. So having this open center, this undefined center, you receive it in more of an inconsistent way. So not saying that you don't receive it because it's not defined. It just may be that you need to focus on another defined center that we will go over that is connected to your open head center that may help you kind of get more of an understanding of it being coming out of nowhere in a sense. So psychic abilities, they kind of can manifest as, a sense of empathy and intuition about other people's thoughts and intentions. So you may have a knack for picking up on like subtle cues in conversations or even nonverbal communication, but also providing insights into people's motivations as well as their future outcomes. So a lot of people with an undefined head center is very good about making connections for other people's outcomes. Like you kind of have this like intuitive knowing for their future events. While the head center can still provide these flashes, like I said, just not as consistent, but they can still be very powerful nonetheless. So just kind of finding these solutions are these like creative ideas that can kind of help you when it does seem to be like just out of nowhere or random. So because this head center, it amplifies and reflects mental energies of those around you, you could also be picking up or amplifying other thoughts and ideas. So this might manifest as knowing what someone's about to say before they say it, or even sensing like a change in someone's mood before they even express it. This is why I truly believe that when it comes to wanting to increase your intuitive abilities and wanting to, learn more, that community is so, so, so important because you are around people with like-mindedness, similarity to what your goals are, rather than surrounding yourself around people that you have a really difficult time making connections like this. This is why community is so important. This is why human design, as we go, you may notice they use tribal a lot. The tribe or the community is because whatever you are reaching for in life, whatever your goal is, it makes such a huge difference finding that community of people that you can share this with. Because, like, having this open center, you're amplifying other people around you. You are taking in their energy. And so just something to think about as we go along too, for like who you put in your bubble. All right, so now we're going to take a look into possible areas of clairvoyance, possible areas with intuitive dreaming, your super consciousness, and also your claircognizance within these gates. So 24, it's going to connect, this channel 6124 is going to connect down to the Ajna Center. You also have gate 61, which is like, and all of these three, they're all connected within your pineal gland. So let me grab this because I wanted to give an example. So what you guys may notice when you're on Ermi's live and when she's channeling, she has her eyes closed, but she will turn her head some ways when she's receiving information or when she's like receiving these downloads. And what that shows me is because Ermi's crown center is completely open. So she does not have any defined gates and it is not defined. However, she does have her Ajna center defined with all the gates halfway connected to the head center. So in a sense, this is how Ermi is making this connection with kind of even opening up her pineal gland for receiving, is like making these like small motor cues. I've also seen other mediums when they connect, they will tilt their head back. And this is all just like really unconscious ways that our body is trying to process the information that we're trying to receive. We'll see that in other areas as well. All right, so the next center we're going to be looking at is the Ajna Center. This center is also known as our third eye. So this is where we are processing everything that we're downloading from the crown center. And now we're creating it into these concepts. Now we're creating it into these details and these answers of what we just received. Those are the three numbers on mine, but mine is undefined. I move my head and sway when I train. Yes, so swaying, I was going to say that too. A lot of swayers, a lot of people that rock back and forth as well. This is actually related to the sacral and the root center as well. So it's just your body trying to show a type of action as to what information you're receiving at that time. Yes, so the Ajna Center, this is our awareness center. And it is associated with our pituitary gland. Here. So you will notice on this slide up here that these words say fear, fear of ignorance, fear of futility, fear of chaos. What I mean by saying the word fear is because I want to put fear, the word fear, in a different form for you, okay? So because Ajna Center, that's our awareness center, I want fear to now become awareness for you, okay? So any of these that you possibly have defined, any gates that you have activated within this center, if you are in your not self place, this is where these words are coming from. Fear of darkness with the 11th gate. Fear of rejection when it comes to gate of insight. So everything that I have learned when it comes to human design is so big on as above, so below. Is that whatever you are receiving in the above, you are receiving in the below. So if that is going to be gate of insight, you are receiving insight going into your throat. You're also going to be aware that there is this possibility or feeling of rejection. Not that you have to fear it, not that you're putting a block on it. We're just going to become aware of it. So having a defined Ajna center, you are just consistently processing, you're conceptualizing, you're interpreting these ideas that are consistently coming in for you. You are capable of kind of providing this like certainty, this like grounding to these ideas, whether they're abstract or logical. And you're not really easily influenced by others. And you really like thinking about multiple things at one time. So having an undefined, you might feel like this constant pressure to figure things out or to find answers, or you just have to be certain about something. So having this like open and receptive Ajna center, you are able to see multiple perspectives at once. And you have wisdom around which, you know, your ideas very much have a very strong value. You know, your ability to challenge others and allow them to become clear on their own concepts. But what it is important of having this undefined center is that you are creating space that you can shut down this mental energy when it's not available. Because having this place open, you are constantly conceptualizing things around you as well, or just trying to find certainty with whatever's coming in. So it is important that you are giving yourself space to kind of like, all right, we're shutting it down right now, putting that boundary up for you. So like I said, with this defined center, your intuitive insights are very consistent. They're also very structured. So it might be involved in with like what you're receiving is very clear, logical insights. And this can be about people. This could be about situations. And it's based off of the patterns and the information that you receive. So you may even like possess this deep capacity for analyzing information and understanding the concepts that can be pretty complex. So psychic abilities can manifest as like the ability to see these connections between unrelated events. And this is why it's so important that you're able to manifest this through your throat center, right? Because there's a potential that, you know, something doesn't really make sense or something's not connecting because it hasn't happened yet, right? Or you just haven't received like the grounding knowledge of it yet. And so this could be a way that you might just be blocking yourself from speaking on it, when in reality it seems like these events can't relate at this current time. But the outcomes are based on, you know, your logical ability as well as your intuitive flashes. So yes, this defined center may also involve channeling information um, from higher realms or accessing knowledge beyond our own personal experiences. So by being someone who does engage in, you know, intuitive consultation, psychic readings, mediumship, this defined Ajna center has a chance to enhance your ability to kind of articulate and communicate these insights. But this could also provide like a structured framework for delivering information to others in a way that's understandable and actionable. So a really great example of this is, Jessica, if I have permission to use you as an example, what we talked about the other day. So Jessica, thank you, has a defined ajna center as well as her throat and her identity center are defined. So, meaning, she has this very much structured way to manifest the information she is receiving, right? So, she is receiving her information, she's receiving these downloads, they come in very structured, very clear. What could be a potential block for Jessica is that she's associating everything she receives as her identity. So having this defined identity center, it could potentially be that the smallest unconscious idea that what she's receiving is not a part of her identity, she could constantly be trying to conceptualize or make what she's receiving as rational, which can be hard, right? Because we're receiving these intuitive downloads and they're not supposed to be something in a rational way, or we're also trying to kind of clear out all of the misunderstanding before we express what we're receiving, right? So what I mean by this is that Jessica could have a potential like block within her identity saying like, well, I'm not going to speak on this because I don't identify myself as a specific intuitive psychic medium, or I am not identified with um, an astrologer. So what I just received seems similar to astrology. I don't feel like what I received is correct. When in reality, the simple fact of, okay, this can be a part of me. It doesn't have to be a part of my identity. A lot of you with your emotional solar plexus area defined could also be seeing this with your emotions, is that you are feeling something and you will unconsciously attach it to your identity when what you're feeling is not who you are. So that's just an example. So having an undefined ajna center and how it can influence your abilities is you're able to amplify other people's thoughts. So having this ajna center, you're highly sensitive and to influenced by thoughts and mental processes of others around you. So this sensitivity can amplify psychic abilities related to telepathy, empathy, or where you may pick up on what people intuitively are thinking or feeling. So I have my ajna center undefined. And if I go into a home that has bad energy attached to a furniture, I automatically can feel the emotions of the furniture. And I will start to act that way. I will amplify the emotion of that furniture due to the fact my abilities came in when I was younger. I grew up in my parents' antique shop. So this is something I have to be very careful of, and especially when I go secondhand shopping. Another way is having this adaptive intuitive insights. Um, having this center open, it's kind of more of allowing of like this flexible, adaptive approach to your intuitive insights. Whereas someone who does have it defined, um, what you're receiving, exactly how you receive your information, and that's what you're going to communicate, right? Whereas someone who has it undefined, you may be more of like open to adapting to different perspectives of your understanding, or wanting to shift your intuitive insights based on the mental energies or the influences that are currently present in your environment. Also, with the receptivity to universal wisdom, um, just like this insight of transcending personal experience. Psychic abilities may involve, again, those intuitive flashes, inspirations that just come from a higher place and being more receptive to what you're receiving as a universal wisdom connection. Let's see here. You know, you're also going to be aware of other mental influences around you too. So this can kind of help you discern between your own thoughts and those influenced by external sources, thereby refining your intuitive abilities over time, right? So you may notice that going into different groups, right, your intuitive abilities may be heightened or may be influenced by the people in that particular group that weren't as so much highlighted in another group that you were interacting with, or you know, having a meeting with Jessica or having a meeting with Ermi, we can just sit there and just bounce off of idea after idea after idea, just because we're can be influenced by certain energy and external sources that we can provide for each other, or you can provide for someone that you are interacting with and they have a center open that you have defined, and vice versa. So yeah, and also with the emotional and the empathic intuition, you kind of manifesting through this heightened sensitivity to emotional energies. And, you know, you may be even picking up on, you know, underlying emotional states, or something that's motivating them is now motivating you, things like that. Then we'll look at the gates here, as well as their ability. So when I have here what it says super consciousness, this is what I mean by just having the direct access to your higher power, whether that be your angels, your spirit guides, who you go to as a teacher or as a guru when it comes to your learnings and involving the way that you want to connect with super consciousness. Let's see here. So gate 43, right here at the bottom, this connects to your throat center. This is actually associated with your inner ear. So you know, you could have left ear clairaudience, you could have right ear clairaudience. This gate right here, the gate of insight, is associated with your inner ear clairaudience. I'm so sorry that I have to go so fast, y'all. I cannot believe it's already 7:40 and we have done two centers. This is what I was talking about, y'all. So much. All right, so we're going to move on to the third center. This is your communication center. This is your expression center. This is your manifestation center, right? This is where thank you. This is where you are your transformation takes place. This is where your metamorphosis place takes, right? Each gate in the throat center has a theme, and it also has a voice. So the on the next slide, the words on there that are additional, those are going to be the voice words of each gate. So yes, like I said, this is your expression center. This is also associated with your thyroid, your parathyroid, and your metabolism. So I don't know if anybody has possibly experienced anything of these areas within the physical body while you've gone through your spiritual awakening, or just a very big transformation or metamorphosis area in your life. If this has been areas in your body that have taken effect, because the throat center is the hub for your actions, it's the hub for your expressions, and it's the hub for your communication. So things that we have possibly experienced in our past and now becoming this new involving transformation. This is a center for having a great effect on how you're able to provide yourself a voice. Yes, so like I said, these words out here outside the gates, these are going to be your voice words when it comes to these gates and areas in your throat center. Um, when I had an overactive one, yes, an overactive thyroid. Thyroid has been low, and it makes sense. Yes. So diagnosed at 18. Okay. I when I was younger, I had pretty big issues with my throat as well as your ears. I will say the throat center being associated with your ear channels as well, but tonsils taken out or throat. You may notice too that when you do receive these intuitive downloads, if you're not doing something that's like an active communication or an action with what you receive, there is a potential that something's kind of like going on within your throat area, or like your drainings, or your allergies, something like that, where you're limiting your ability or limiting how you're communicating. So with a defined throat, you speak in a fixed way with these energies, with the energies flowing from the centers that the throat is connected to, right? So connecting to the mind, you have this energy to kind of bring forth unique ideas and interpret it to the world, right? Having the G center, which is the center directly below the throat center. This is the energy to express yourself and provide your direction. Having the connection with the solar plexus, you have the energy to kind of share your emotional processes and your wisdom. With your spleen center, you have the energy to kind of share your intuition and share your instincts. And with the heart center, to share your desires, to share your will, and the sacral with your life force. If you have an undefined throat center, you can amplify the voices around you and speak. You may even have this like constant pressure to speak. You're not designed to plan what to say, but rather you're tuning into your wisdom at that moment. So leaning into your strategy and authority, having an open or undefined throat center is going to really, really help when knowing when the time feels right. And when you follow that, your words are very impactful and very well received. Let's see here. Yes, so let's start with the undefined. Having an undefined throat, the amplification of others' voices and chameleon-like adaptability. This is my husband, 1,000%. He expresses his open and undefined center through expressing his intuitions and his downloads in an artistic way. So he does write music, he does sing. He also does the most insane Maya Angelou impression. Her voice, oh my gosh, I could call you and have him do it, and you would think it's her. It's crazy. But yes, so people having an undefined throat center, they're very sensitive to expressions of those around them, right? So, you could very much be just really easy to pick up on these like cues, emotions, and, intentions from others. As well as with this like chameleon-like adaptability, right? So you have like this natural ability to kind of mirror or even adapt to communication styles of others. And this can kind of extend your psychic sensitivity, where you might just unconsciously tune into and resonate with the energies and psychic impressions of different people around you in your environments, right? So being receptive to the spiritual messages that you receive. You are able to kind of like receive these insights and then interpret it or express it in your own unique way. So your verbal means might be a little bit different when it comes to how you are expressing or amplifying the messages that you receive, right? It's just very enhanced. Or you could also be expressing these downloads or what you're receiving in a very artistic or creative way, right? Which is why I love the ability to use tools when it comes to enhancing our psychic abilities, right? Just, the ability to be able to be, super artistic and creative, or using tools that allow that space to be open, right? I think this is why I started with tarot cards. They were kind of this like anchor for me to what I was receiving and how I can express it. And just being a very artistic storytelling way for me. Um, let's see here. You also having this place open is being very sensitive and be able to perceive information through even subtle vibrations. Um, you may even be able to just tune into other um, people's energy just because what you're receiving as a download is in association with their physical senses or emotions, right? As well as the empathic side of what you're receiving from spirit, in a way that they're trying to use your hub of the throat to communicate what's going on, right? So you are getting the emotions of the person that passed away. You're able to kind of receive this like subtle vibration so that the way that you can process and relay what you're receiving is correct, with either in the way that how they feel in this current moment is not the same way they felt before they had passed, or perceiving this information um, beyond just your physical senses. You are now able to kind of pick up emotions and the energies of past loved ones because it's directly related to the emotions, the energies, the vibrations of the loved ones that are here now that we are helping to communicate for. Here. Right. So expression through others as well. You're expressing your intuitive insights, or psychic perceptions even indirectly. So you are helping or supporting, guiding others in their own journeys. And they may act as like these conduits for the messages that need to be communicated, right? So not even being someone that's on the forefront, you are someone who is, being the guide that's going to benefit those around them. And of course, the throat just being a direct integration with defined centers. So even having this center, your throat center, your manifestation center, having this open just means that what other center that you have connected to that, the ajna, the spleen, the identity, the heart, anything connected within this is going to activate these specific areas for psychic abilities. So having the center defined, you may notice that you just have the urge communication of intuition. You may even just feel this like push to articulate your intuitive insights and perceptions like once you receive them. I have my throat center defined and I have to get it out. I have to. And I battle this with, the ethics of, relaying a message, because you are potentially relaying a message to someone who does not believe in what you believe in. I'm so curious to know, if Teresa Caputo is someone that has her center defined because she feels the absolute urgent need to reach out to people when she's in the grocery store or when she's in a restaurant, right? Which, before all this, I was like, that is so scary that she is able to do that. But now understanding, it could be that push that you just have to speak it out. Otherwise, it's just going to sit in your throat. Authority in your expression. So the defined center, suggests that this person has authority or consistency with how you express yourself. This can, you know, help with like confidence in expressing the experiences that you receive or the intuitive downloads that you need to share with others. As well as manifesting psychic insight. So psychic abilities often involve, the information that we receive, higher sources, our environment, other people. So having this defined throat center, you might have been someone who's able to kind of discover that you have a talent for turning these into messages. And this doesn't have to necessarily be spoken, right? This could be writing. This could be like many other forms of expression, right? Because your throat center is not just like this direct hub for your voice. It is your actions as well as your manifestations. So having this throat center defined, you could be someone who has found that you're able to effectively communicate with writing. You're able to receive messages with your doodles, or even when it comes to actions, right? So we have, let me see, these action words. So how you experience things, how you remember things, how you contribute yourself, how you lead, or even how you experiment, right? So these are all the things that you are potentially doing, potentially trying when it comes to finding ways to kind of heighten or learn more about the way your abilities work. All right, let's see here. All right, so now we're going to look into the clairvoyance when it comes to the thirds. We've got the 4816. Let's see here. Yeah, so the 48 is actually going to be down into the spleen center, as well as 317. So 317, this is going to be the gate of influence with the, let's see what it is, gate of the role of the self. Yes. So having this connection with clairvoyance, you are gaining influence, insight from spirit, and you're able to directly connect it with yourself. Meaning that you are able to potentially make this connection as a role of what you're receiving is being identified with the reason why you need to speak out. Yeah, so you can see here that the throat center has a lot of different channels that involve the different clairs that we work with, as well as, connection with our higher self. Yes, so 31 defined, that is the gate of influence. Let me look. My little thing here. Okay. Yeah, so gate 31 is very big on influence. It's a big visionary gate as well, powerful leadership, but also your acts of service. So the way that you feel that you want to give service into your life, and your purpose and what you do is very much could be influenced by your visionary, what you're receiving, and just as well be someone who is a powerful leader, and you're able to identify yourself as a leader for service instead of being a leader for recognition, and you feel that you can identify yourself as a leader. Okay, let's see, 62 and 16. Yes, so the gate of skills, that is going to be a direct connection to your spleen center. Your spleen center is, I would like to say, the most intuitive center that we have within human design. So having that gate 16 here, and even just having it defined, right, and not in that connection. Gate of skills. So this is your raw talent, your ability to look at life as art, um, with big enthusiasm, right? So having this um, ability to just kind of look at something you're super interested in, um, taking it as, you know, a new beginning, this like raw talent, and creating this like courageous act of manifestation because you're so enthusiastic about life and about life being this like art form, and able to do it in a place where, you know, you're not like moving too fast, or you're not putting a potential block on yourself where you're like, well, I'm not prepared, or thinking that, well, it's not time to leap right now because I need to wait for the time to be right. See here. What does it mean when they are only halfway? So that means that you don't have the full channel, Kim. You just have that gate that's activated. So what that could potentially mean is that you may not have that connection to the centers with the channel, but having that gate activated is going to provide some type of like grounding, or I don't want to say stability, but that, I'll say activation when it comes to that center, right? So you could potentially be within a group or within your tribe that has the other gate connected, and now you two are making that channel, right? So now you've got a flow of this energy that is now being connected within your gate and within their gate. Now you're making a channel. Yes. So if it is shaded, if you have this energy center shaded, it is defined. So, honey, having your gate of privacy, the gate 33, this is all about 33 is like the reflection gate, right? So this is like the nostalgia gate. This is where you're gathering experiences and sharing the stories, and just like a big, not big, it's a good hub for, let me see here. What just happened? There we go. Yeah, so what you're able to be manifesting in your state of action, having 33 defined, is, like I said, the nostalgia gate of, you know, sharing stories, sharing insight of what you've experienced in life, and providing like that influence and providing that inspiration for others around you, or even using your stories and your experiences and the way that you reflect, um, as a way to kind of enhance your abilities for how you even channel as a medium, right? So you may just like be receiving an intuitive download, and now it's interchanging, or now it's becoming a relation of something that you've experienced in your past, right? So like you receive information and you're like, I don't know why I'm supposed to tell you this, but when I was younger, I was at the playground, and you know, this happened, this happened, this happened. And then now that person that you're sharing it with is able to kind of make a connection. Now you're kind of like gathering a way to, you know, use your stories, use your nostalgia, as a way of how you are manifesting your mediumship abilities. So yeah, I mean, there's so much. It's already 8 o'clock, and I have literally have hit 3 centers, y'all. So um I thought I just liked talking about myself. Yeah, see? And see that, you know, it's good. I really like that you even said, Phoenix, that you just like talking about yourself, because these are areas or ways of like your how you're expressing yourself, but it's in a way that you're providing connection, right? So some people, you know, you may have even been slightly conditioned somewhere in life where it's like, you're being too much. All you're doing is talking about yourself. You don't care about other people. And it's like, no, the way that you're expressing yourself is through stories, right? And this is a potential way that you are communicating your insight. You are activating, you are creating this new energy dynamic for what you need to share with the world. I'm defined in 20 and 33. And also, I love sharing stories, things that happen. Yes, exactly. And I know sometimes, people can kind of take this the wrong way, where it's like you are having a conversation with someone and they take it as you're immediately just talking about yourself or just wanting to share your experience, when in reality you're sharing your experience for the benefit of that you are helping them, right? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so hmm, being 8 o'clock, would you guys like me to go for about 20 more minutes? And then if we still haven't, possibly having another presentation this week, or keep going. Okay, I'm totally fine with keeping going. So if you guys are, I'm here. Okay. All right, awesome. All right, so now we're going to move to the identity, the G center. So in this chart right here, this is where the identity center is, right? This is the hub for direction. This is our direction center. This is where we find love for self, our purpose, where we're able to kind of give and receive, right? This center is also known as the seat of the soul. So this is the center that kind of like holds us together. And it's very much like a balanced magnet that's going to attract everything that we are and repelling everything that we are not. This center is also in big association with our liver as well as our blood. So having a defined G center represents a fixed and reliable sense of self. You may have like this consistent self-image and this feeling of lovability. You know where you're going. Even though you may not have all the details, it's like you have this intuitive insight. You know where you're going, and it flows pretty natural, right? So when you are deeply connected to the center, you have the capacity to comfort those who are feeling at loss with their own sense of self. You're kind of able to point out new directions and even just bring new relationships for others, right? Excuse me, I'm sorry. If you do have an open G center, you do have the ultimate capacity to be the ultimate guide to others. Very fluid, so you can kind of step in and out of like many roles, even embodying different identities throughout your life. You can adapt easily to your environment, or you can adapt easily to those that are around you. This is why if you do have an open center, your environment is very important because it's going to reflect, but it's also going to amplify anyone that you come in contact with, right? Let me see here. Let me see. Pull up my chart. Yes, so I have my is that 13. Yeah, so just for example, my sister, she has an undefined G center, but she has the 13th gate defined, which is what they call the gate of the listener, right? So this gate 13, I don't know if anybody else has the gate 13 defined, but this is also the reason why it's a good connection for that 33 that Honey has defined, right? This is the storyteller. The 13th is the listener, right? You are keeping these stories. you're able to kind of create this empowering narrative where you're able to use other people's stories and abilities to kind of create and adapt new and transformative ways. So you're not getting stuck in old beliefs or old stories, or you're not someone who's like holding a grudge where you really need to forgive. This gate is someone who's very powerful with identifying being emotionally empathic to other people's experiences, where you're not directly putting some type of like judgment on them, right? You're not immediately going to this to the other person and spilling their secrets or gossiping about this person. You are keeping their stories, you're listening to the stories to be able to create this very empowering narrative for the way that your life is transforming or moving to. Let's see here. So having this defined G center, you're indicating, you have this consistent sense of identity and direction. And this stability, having this strong foundation is really good for developing and trusting your intuitive and psychic abilities. You may be someone who has pretty good self-awareness about yourself. By allowing others around you to kind of like discern their own thoughts and emotions and their intuitive impressions more effectively, rather than, having this open space, you are more open to people's thoughts and emotions when it comes to the awareness of yourself. So the way that you are able to kind of bring this connection to higher self with this defined G center is because, like I said, this is considered the seat of the soul. And it's kind of suggesting having a stronger connection to your higher self or the spiritual essence. And this connection can kind of facilitate receiving guidance, from your higher source. And this is where you feel the most confident about your self-awareness, because you're able to intuitively make this strong connection with higher source and with your higher self, right? Having this place defined is also kind of bringing this like grounding intuition. So psychic abilities often involve this like subtle information beyond our ordinary senses, right? So having this center defined, it's kind of giving you this like ground intuitive perception. And it might be easier to even like integrate your intuitive guidance into your daily lives. So making decisions that just like automatically align with your deeper sense of purpose. So what I mean by that is that if you have a defined center, this is what, and this center being the seat of your soul, you may even notice that a sit down meditation is not as effective as your doing the dishes meditation, your walking outside, your daily walk meditation, or your nightly shower meditation, right? So it's just kind of giving you more of this like unconscious grounding place for manifesting. So this could be kind of difficult for having this defined area to be able to sit down, hear music, and get into yourself of like a quiet mind and get into source, right? This is kind of a center where you need to extend beyond having this place that you need to ground when it comes to what you're channeling and what you're doing. And you've just been, able to realize, oh, I've actually been channeling while I'm taking a walk, or I had no idea that I was channeling when I do this particular routine for my nightly routine. So things like that. Let's see here. Manifestation and empowerment, right? So you may be able to manifest your psychic abilities through your creative or expressive outlets. So into your art, into your writing, into your healing practices, or other any forms of creative expression that you are resonating your sense of self and purpose. This is so, so, so important. I want y'all to think about this for a second. Your seat of your soul sits in the energy center that you resonate with as your sense of self and your purpose. This is where an easy conditioning block could sit that all it takes is just you need to be aware of it, right? So if we go back to this one of your directions, right? So like the gate 46, gate of determination of the self, right? This is the love for your body. This is the awareness that you have as your soul sits in the awareness of your physical body. So if you, have even found yourself where your intuition or your abilities have, there's been areas in your life or cycles in your life where you're like having a hard time making the same connections as you once were. There's just a potential chance that something along the lines of how you have directed yourself or how you have given yourself a sense of purpose in life and giving yourself an identity, your body or your energy center is just trying to show you, hey, when this comes about and you unconsciously put this into your identity form, this is kind of where our slight disconnection comes into with the seed of our soul, right? I'll give you an easy example of what I've determined. Growing up, I, as a younger child, even you may even experienced where in sports or in dancing or anything like that, you had the ability or you've been invited to, join the travel team or you are invited to join this team. But of course, that costs more money. And, it was just the simple fact like, okay, your parents couldn't afford it. You now understand that as an adult, right? You understand that, okay, I was invited to do this. It would have been super cool to do. But now I understand, it just wasn't going to work out. You have potentially have created an unconscious block that you are not worthy or a sense of self to be invested in. And you could still be carrying this with you, right? This is also a center connected right into your heart center, your ego center. Your heart and ego center is your hub for money. So, like we're not holding grudges. We are not in a place of foul intent, but it's just that we still have held on to this unconscious block and becoming aware of it, we can take it out of our identity, right? We can now know that we are of worth to invest in. We always have been. So an example like that is what I mean by being the seed of the soul and just having something you wouldn't even think about, right? You wouldn't even think about would be an issue as to like why you are kind of still going over hurdles in life, right? We can be so mean to ourselves sometimes. Yes, absolutely. And we're not even realizing, what it's about or what it's for. Yes, exactly. Be nice to everyone else. Yes. Absolutely. All right. Yeah. So let's check out an undefined G center, right? So this kind of indicates, your sensitivity into how you experience a sense of identity or direction in life. So having this place open, your seat of your soul, it's open, right? You're going to have a heightened sensitivity to energies, emotions, and psychic impressions from your environment, from the people that you interact with. Um, The um, G center, this identity center, is actually the biggest center for all clairsentient abilities, right? These are my empaths. You may even be easily like picking up on, those subtle cues, those emotions, and contributing them to your psychic abilities, right? Tuning into how other people feel and their thoughts and things like that. So both of my daughters have an open G center. Being a manifesting generator, I have a manifesting generator RBF face is what we call it. When I'm in the concentration zone, I look pissed. I look mean. And it's something I just need to be mindful of, right? Because both my girls are like, Mom, are you happy? Mom, are you happy? Are we having fun? They'll ask me that all the time. Are we having fun? And so this is something I need to be cautious of, right? Because I'll get in the zone and I probably look crazy, but they're like, trying to fill me out. Like, all right, she doesn't feel mad, but she looks real mad. It's just this, like, the area of unspoken communication, right? Mama, are you mad? Yes. I'm like, no, I'm happy. I'm happy. I just gotta fix my face. Yeah, we call that the manifesting generator face, right? You just kind of like get into your, the generator face. But yeah, so this is kind of like feelings of like unspoken communication, right? This could even be where, that friend that you can kind of sit in a room with and y'all don't have to like feel the pressure to say stuff or to do stuff. You guys can sit there and not speak. When it comes to channeling and when it comes to receptivity with this openness center, you are even receiving your guidance and your messages through your inner wisdom, right? So this is kind of leading you to those moments of like profound understanding, and you just kind of know something without needing any type of like logical explanation. My RBF and my shyness are not a good mix. Yes. And it's funny too, like, my husband will take pictures of all of us doing something. If I am really focused on something, I look so angry. And I'm like, I just need to remind you, just tell me. Be like, fix your face, bro. Another one when it comes to this area being undefined is adaptability and integration. You can often adapt to identities and energies of others. So this adaptability can kind of like enhance your ability to kind of connect with even more like diverse perspectives, right? You're kind of able to kind of communicate your messages within your soul into like this collective wisdom. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced working with a psychic or a medium that even potentially changes like their demeanor when they're channeling, or it's just like a small, like subtle voice change, even. Or, you can just kind of understand and feel that you're tapping into this like collective pool of information, and you're like, I'm not really sure where I've gotten this information from, but I know what I'm receiving, right? I believe I've seen some of that with the groups of, you guys hearing different languages and just knowing your hearing is correct, right? But not being fully aware of like the language or even the words you're speaking in that current moment. Um, I would like to relate that to, what meaning by adaptability and integration when it comes to channeling. All right. So again, these are the different clairs when it comes to your G center, right? Identity center. So one that's really interesting to point out if anybody has the channel 14.2 in association with claircognizance. I don't know if anybody has that, but channel 2 is the gate of higher knowledge. And then we have channel 14, which is actually in the sacral center. I'm sorry, y'all, I do not have all 64 of these gates memorized yet. Please forgive me. So yeah, gate 14 is the gate of power skills, right? So having this 14.2, this gate of power knowledge, right, connected into your power skills. Okay. So yeah, the gate of higher knowledge is that receptive gate, right? That supportive gate, the visionary gate, but also you may even notice just having a gate that your path and your abilities of manifesting these messages when it comes to your sense of self is very unique. And it's really important when it comes to this gate right here, the gate of higher knowledge, being within how you identify yourself, that you are not compromising your own path, right? You're not allowing others to kind of tell you you're supposed to do it like this, or you are just growing up like telling stories or having like this wild imagination. Was it your imagination, or was it just how you are uniquely identifying yourself and your path to your connection with higher spirituality or your spirit guides or what you're receiving in that moment? It's colored in for me, number 2. Yeah. Wait. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so as you can see too, this is I did say sentience, yes. Big center for all your clairsentience. So we have gate 13 as the empath. They call this the empath gate. Gate 15, the gate of extremes. This was where you may even have sensitivity to like all life forms, right? This is the gate where you have big connections when it comes to nature, when it comes to animals. And this is why that channel 515 going down into the sacral center is the rhythm channel. You can kind of feel emotions, but not only emotions, you're feeling identity, you're feeling other people's life patterns, and you're able to kind of feel just even this like life force energy, right? 15 is defined, and the connections with birds is crazy. Yes. So this is definitely I would associate the gate 15, or even just anything involved within your identity center, very big empath area, right? So even if you do not have any of these gates that are defined and you feel, like, okay, well, definitely associate myself with the animal interaction or anything like that. Again, it's just so important to remember that having this openness, you're amplifying everything around you, right? All you're doing is experiencing. So everything you are experiencing in life is just open, and you are just amplifying everything that is going on in that moment. All right. So now we're going to go on to the ego center. This is also called the heart center. And this is representing our willpower, our material world, our determination, and our drive. So just like the G center, we just went over as a direction, your ego is a direction and a motor center, right? So this is your heart within your body, your thymus, your stomach, as well as your gallbladder. So with the ego center being a motor center, it's providing this energy that's necessary for our manifestation processes that we're communicating and taking action within our throat, right? And very much tapping into this center and seeing it as a direction center is a really good guide and can really lead us into alignment. So when you have this heart center defined, you like to be in control of your life, as well as your resources. So from where you work into how you make and spend money, you very much want to be the head of all of that, right? Your mental, your core desires guide you, and they're very, very, very important to your inner alignment. So it's healthy for you to express your ego's desires. So if you have this consistent access to your will, it's going to be very, very, very powerful, right? This, like I said, this is the money center. Having this area undefined, you're able to see what has value and what doesn't. You're also able to see who keeps promises and who doesn't. You're very observing. Your perspective, having this objective perspective, you're able to guide others because you have the capacity to take in their energy deeply and guide them from a place of wisdom, right? And it's very much based on you being versus doing, right? Because again, this is a direction center, but this is also a motor center. So with this potential to kind of can hold this compassionate, loving worldview, you very much just have this open-hearted energy and very much making space to release this amplified pressure to compete and to prove, right? So if you have this gate 26 right here, you might be known to be very competitive, but also you might be someone who is just holding on to this pressure that you have to prove yourself. You have to prove yourself to others. All right. Undefined at 5140, everything else defined. Right now. Yeah, so I could go on for days about gate 51, the gate of shock. But having this defined ego center when involving your abilities is really important because it's allowing you to kind of have this very strong self-confidence. So being assured that, when you are exploring and trusting your intuitive and psychic abilities, that this self-confidence is kind of remaining consistent for you. Let's see here. So your intuition within this center, having the gate of the egoist, just being competitive or having this strong desire to prove yourself is just more of giving you this clear channel and intuition with your guidance that you're trusting those gut feelings and those instincts that you receive. It kind of hits you more readily. So you might even find that you're able to kind of make decisions that align with your inner knowing, just because you are automatically empowering that intuition that you're receiving. Let's see here. And like I said, too, even having this space undefined or defined, your psychic information may even be processing and be interpreted through the lens of compassion and empathy and love, right? So you're able to connect with people around you and understand emotions and energies intuitively because you're so driven, right? This is your direction center. This is your motor center. You're so driven that what you're making these connections for is for compassion and it's for love and it's for the love of other people around you, right? The emotion can kind of sit in this area of others and you're able to, bring this resiliency about your emotions and even just bring that like expression and communication about you, right? Because even with this gate 21 up here, the reason why they call it the gate of the hunter or the huntress is because you very much want control of your resources because of your caring ability and of your trusting ability that you can supply for the tribe, right? Um, some of the things that would not but be of your like not self is that you feel unsafe about something to where it makes you feel very controlling, that nobody else has the ability to gather the resources, and it's kind of making you have to sit in this controlling space, or that you are very much grasping and hanging on to that what you're learning um, is something that you're not really understanding of what you can and can't control in life. So in this area of compassion, this area of where you put your into your direction, but also being a place where you have the potential connection of this being in your emotional center, this connecting to even your intuition center. If there is a place that you have a hard time dealing with criticism, or you have a hard time even dealing with a lot of change that you may experience in your life, this is potentially where you could just be hanging on to that idea of control, and not allowing any type of movement or flow or the ability to grasp any other knowledge in. So having this center undefined also makes it a big empathic, sensitive to others' emotions, right? Or even sensitive to the emotions that you are tapping into. So I am someone who either is getting ready to take part in mediumship or something going on within mediumship. My subtle cues are my feelings that I pick up. It's like I can kind of already sense who is about to come through for me. So even being like in a gallery style, and not even knowing if I'm going to be the one to be channeled, I know I'm going to be the one channeled because of how my emotions become very like heightened in that moment, or I'm just placing myself in like this receptive area, right? And so it's like an automatic download of the intuitive insights. It's like, all right, I already know I'm about to be read, or I'm this person that's about to come through. I know it's for me. Adaptability in this heart center is going to allow you to interact with like a wide range of emotional energies. And you're kind of able to kind of tune in and understand diversity. So I believe, having this area open. I'm also curious to know if you have any of the connections with your spleen or your throat. If you find more of a place of like enhancing your abilities, if you are in like a gallery style mediumship, or if you are able to kind of pick up on these emotional energies and like how you adapt into a group versus how you may channel or work with intuitive insights with a one-on-one. So if you guys have any comments or anything in suggesting with that, being someone who either reads within like a gallery style group versus someone who kind of does one-on-one, or even if you don't notice a difference. Just curious to kind of know what the like receptivity of that is. So when it comes to the ego center, the heart center, right? There's not really necessarily like higher intuitive functions that come about with this center, right? But the reason why I wanted to include these gates is because these gates are very much an activator for your abilities. So not necessarily saying like, oh, I can look that you have gate 21 defined, meaning that, this is a good connection that may be in relation to your clairvoyance or how you channel. This is what I want to include because this could be something in relation to your shadow self. This is something that could be in relation to how you deal with certain scenarios or how you even deal with certain situations involving reading certain people, involving who you channel or working through. So yeah, gate 40 right here. This is the gate of aloneness. And the shadow self, when it comes to the gate of aloneness, is going to be exhaustion, right? Because you are exercising your willpower in a place of self-worth in the community. So this gate right here, being in immediate connection with your emotional authority, this is a very big, important gate when it comes to finding a place within your community that you feel safe in exercising your self-worth and exercising your willpower in place of self-worth, right? Another big reason why I think community, when it comes to things like this, is so big. So the gate 40, being the gate of aloneness, is just very much like you're driven to connect. But the aloneness aspect of it is basically in relation to you like to connect with others, but it has to be from that place of willpower, right? It has to be that place where you don't feel exhausted from exercising your place of self-worth. This is why it's called the gate of aloneness. You're driven to connect, but you also have to have your space of aloneness because you do love to work, right? You do love to be the hero and you do love to support other people. But what is so important about this gate is that you're not taking aloneness as the feeling of being lonely, right? This would be a shadow self where you are allowing yourself to feel lonely versus taking your space of aloneness. The shadow self with the gate 40 is also a very big place with stomach and digestive issues. And it's only because you're not knowing how to replenish yourself, right? You are a workaholic. You're trying to be a hero. And it's coming from a place of community that is not allowing you to actively exercise your willpower of self-worth, right? You probably have understand this in a workplace that, I could think of a lot of places that aren't really honoring of the self-worth, right? And it burns you out. And you're kind of stuck into not really knowing how to replenish self, or now your self-worth is being compromised. And so you're getting burnout and you're trying to be the hero in a place where the will and the worth are not making a connection. This is also why it's important when it comes to intuitiveness and channeling and things like that, is that you're not associating what you are experiencing or doing with the person you're reading for. And what I mean by that is that you care, but you don't carry, right? Whatever's going on, whatever you feel, whatever you experience, what you're doing comes through a place of compassion and love, right? This is our ego center, this is our heart center. But you're not carrying it into a place of identity, and you're not carrying it into a place where now you're identifying it within an emotion that you're experiencing. Gate 21, like I said, that's the gate of control. So just having that like constant feeling you need to be in control, right? Because I'm sure anybody in here has an experience where a channeling's going on or you're receiving messages and you are in nowhere near control of what you're receiving and what's going on, right? It's going down. Gate 51, gate of shock. This one is the experts at dealing with shocking situations, right? This is also another competitive gate. So that 26 and that 51. But gate 51, if you are in tune with this, if you are harmonious with this gate, you may even be allowing the surprises in your life to kind of be harmonious, right? The shadow self would definitely be someone that you are trying to resist the situations that you come into in life. And that's why it's called the gate of shock, right? So becoming in alignment with this is, you're transcending the ego, right? You're growing from this place of shock. It's becoming an initiation. It's becoming a catalyst, right? You're kind of learning to, I don't want to say deal with the shock, right? You're like, I'm just dealing with it. I'm just dealing with this initiation. You're not learning to deal. We're transcending from it, right? We're initiating this place of shock to integrate us into where we're moving forward. I keep doing that, sorry. Gate 26. If it's being connected, that gate 26 is going to go into 2644, what's in that spleen center. And this gate being gate 26, the gate of the egoist, the best outcome of this is that you're not serving from a place of where you're getting the best outcome, right? Your gate 26, through your competitive stance, through that place where it's called the egoist, it's your confidence, right? It's you know how you love, how you present yourself. You have integrity, and it's because you can come from a place where your truth, the way you transmit truth, the way you receive your resources. And if you have this gate 26 defined, 2644, you might even be a really good salesperson. You just kind of know, and you're able to receive the resources that you need, and you're able to sell something. Like you're able to kind of intuitively connect with the person and deliver, and you're able to sell. But it is important that you're looking at it with serving the whole rather than just like that initial immediate self gain, right? The not self with the gate 26 would be selective memory, or even having a fear of cells, where you can maybe even sell the dream, but you're not delivering. And that integrity with yourself is not aligning with your self-esteem. I hate sales just a smidge. I mean, I'll be honest, that is a place where if I stood, it kind of scares me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I also have it open as well. So, all right, let's see here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Jessica, you can confirm this for me or not, but is tomorrow night at 7 or Thursday night a good day for finishing this? And before we go, I do want, because everyone's here, I do want to kind of give you guys the surprise announcement, but I don't want to be like rushing and this is a lot of info, y'all. So I just want to be able to relay it to y'all in an effective way and in a non-horse voice way. So yes, just if there's anything going on tomorrow. Oh, yes, there is. Someone's presenting for chakras, right? Friday. Yeah, I can do Friday. Okay. Maybe Friday at 7 again. Awesome. Okay. So before I go, I do want to say, let's see. So we made it to the ego center, meaning we have 4 more centers to conquer. And we will get back in touch on Friday. Awesome. Friday at 7. Yes. So from there, yes, absolutely. I want to share with you guys a really, really, really awesome announcement. So Jessica and I have been working super, super hard, and we are going to be having a human design and inner childhood healing workshop, y'all. Like I said, when Jessica and I get together, the thoughts and the things that we correlate with, yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be awesome. So here's what the workshop is entailing, y'all. So right now we've got it at a 4-day workshop, and this is what you're getting. Within these 4 days, you are going to be receiving a personal human design chart reading. And this is going to be reading your specific unique energy map that's going to highlight your areas of healing as well as your specific areas of abilities, right? So I just went over 2 hours, 2 hours of 5 centers. So here's what I did not include, right? I did not include your profile. I did not include your authority. I have not even touched on the incarnation cross. I don't even think I have yet to speak on anything that goes on with your unconscious planet, right? So, this left side of your chart, the design, that's all potential unconscious blocks that just need awareness, right? That just need awareness for your inner child, and it just needs awareness for your heightened abilities, right? You're also going to be receiving, y'all, a one-on-one guided meditation into your Akashic records. And the reason for this is because you getting access to this information and, just getting more insight into your life purpose and past experience, but also now Jessica's amazing ability to just guide you in there and then having access to it throughout the workshop is going to be so beneficial, y'all. So beneficial. Also, we have created a comprehensive interactive workbook, right? So you're going to be able to, come on now, you're going to be able to guide and track everything that we speak on when it comes to your human design chart, when it comes to, anything that you need to highlight that you potentially feel like is related to your inner child and what areas that need to be healing from. Because what I want to do is I want to change a definition of a word and a meaning of a word for you. So now that you have just like a whole entire new relationship with something that went on in your past or something that is still not kind of puzzling together. It's not fitting right. Jessica and I we're here to make that work, right? This journal is also going to have all 64 gates definitions and their meanings, okay? Because I want y'all to know. I want y'all to understand. Y'all are cracking me up. Right. So right, I said we're changing that ego relationship, right? We're creating a brand new dynamic, and we're going to be able to do that just by looking at your personal energetic blueprint, right? Your human design. And focusing on your personal goal. So one of the things that you'll notice is when you do sign up for this workshop, I'm going to be asking you, what is your goal when it comes to your intuitive abilities? Are you looking for specifics? Are you looking for, that more of a picture? Are you wanting to put boundaries down? Are are we wanting to find the block or that hurdle that you just keep feel like you're keep going through, right? That's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. But also just healing, um, just ultimately combining these two to provide healing, because now you all going into this world and gaining more knowledge and gaining more understanding of who you are, of just being in way more better, or more in tuned and more aligned with what you're doing and what you're wanting to do. Okay. So this workshop is going to be the 15th and through the 18th of August. Okay, so you guys can book your seat through my website, tarokate.com. You're going to go in there and book your readings and look for Human Design and Inner Childhood Workshop. Okay. So right now we have those Zoom meetings set from 10 to 12. And then following that, just kind of giving you throughout the day where you're meeting with Jessica, you're meeting with me. Okay. And this is because we want you guys in tune, right? I want to have a place where you're asking the million questions. If you cannot make it all days, Tiffany, we are going to be recording it and having it in that morning. Just wanted to give you the, ability that if you do need to come back later on in the day, or, meet with Jessica and I later on in the day, that's possible, that's able, as well as you'll have that recording. 1000%. So if you guys, yes, need them recording, right? Well, if you want your one-on-one sessions to be recorded, we'll definitely ask you permission. And yes, I don't mind recording your sessions, so you can have them, and then I will send them to your personal email, so you guys can have access to those whenever as well. So yes. How long are the one-on-one? So the one-on-ones are just typically going to depend on how much time you need with Jessica to access your records. And with reading everyone's human designs, I at least, within the 4 days, want to give you like like an hour to an hour and a half time span of understanding your human design, right? So if we spend 25 minutes the first day and then 25 minutes the next day, right? I just want to give you guys a good enough time to where, we're flexible with your schedule, but you're not left hanging, because y'all, human design is so freaking much. I didn't even finish. They'll give me what, 2 hours? Right? So, this is what we feel like can kind of set up to give you the one-on-ones you guys need to bring more understanding, and have these personal meetings, as well as being together in the group with the Zoom meetings as well. So if you guys have any questions, please send me a message, send Jessica a message. Y'all, we are super, super, super excited about this. We have formulated some crazy ideas about ways to heal your inner child and how it directly correlates with kind of putting these like unconscious blocks when it comes to rationalizing, to grounding, and oh my god, you're killing me, y'all. But yeah, I want, and not only that though, y'all, I want to give you guys a place where we are experimenting, right? We're doing exercises. We are um putting things into place where you're trying out new ways with your abilities, or you are switching up your environment, comes to, where you need to be when channeling, or how different environments affect you. Is this in any resonation with your strongest sense? Is this any resonation with all of your open areas within your human design chart are all open areas where you have been possibly conditioned in your life and you have no idea? You have no, we want to bring that to light and bring you more awareness about yourself. So, yeah, y'all, we are super, super, super excited about this. If y'all have any questions, let me know. Other than that, I will see you all on Friday so we can now cover the bottom 4 centers. We've got that spleen center still. That's literally all where your intuition and fear sit. I love that center. That's probably one of my favorites. So yeah, I cannot wait to, sorry if this got asked already, but it doesn't matter if you don't know your time of birth. Let me get back to you on that. Would like to more outside sources on that and see if there's any possibility, because I would like to say that it doesn't matter, but I don't want it to truly matter about something and then we kind of make a flaw. So I will get to you on that and send you a message. But again, thank y'all. You guys have great energy. I love the interactions. I love y'all being here. Again, if y'all have any questions, just let Jessica know. Other than that, we will see y'all Friday. Thank y'all. Oh, I appreciate it.